Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. Back again with another match preview here today, chatting about West Bromwich Albion versus Hull City, which kicks off on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock at the Hawthorns. We'll be going through all of the match analysis for this game, taking a look at the opposition as in Hull City. We'll be taking a look at some stats for them, how they rank in the league in terms of different stat areas, and we'll also be taking a look at a predicted lineup and a bit of a star man for them to look out for. We'll also be taking a look through Albion's predicted lineup with a couple of injuries and suspensions in there. It's bound to be an interesting one that Valerian Ismail picked, so I'll be picking a predicted lineup for them, and we'll also be going through a bit of a ones to watch for West Bromwich Albion as well as a little bit of a score prediction at the end. But I'd love to see you getting your score predictions in the comment section below. Make sure you drop them in the comments and let me know what you think the score is going to be. If you want to let me know a scorer as well, that makes things just as interesting. But before we get into this match preview, be sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For more content like this, there's Matchday Vlogs, there's podcasts, ex-player podcasts, ex-player chats, and all of that jazz. Matchday Vlogs, match previews, all of that stuff, match reaction as well. Make sure you're subscribing. We're heading for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But yeah, let's get straight into this video. Let's go straight into this match preview and crack on with West Bromwich Albion versus Hull City. Let's crack right on. It's match preview time. Let's chat about West Bromwich Albion versus Hull City, a big game. West Bromwich Albion hoping to bounce back from a really disappointed defeat at the weekend to Fulham. Yeah, we'll be chatting all about West Bromwich Albion in a little bit. But yeah, if you want to go and check out the podcast episode with Liam, who came on the podcast, who does a lot of artwork for West Bromwich Albion, who chatted with me about the Fulham game. We sort of went over it and picked it apart really in that podcast episode. It's available on YouTube. It's also available on whatever podcast platform if you prefer it in an audio version, but it's also here in video. You can see our beautiful faces via a Zoom call as well. So yeah, there's both of those options for you if you want to go and check that out. There'll be links in the description for all the content this season, so make sure you go and check that out. But yeah, let's crack straight on with a little bit of analysis into Hull City. Obviously, Hull just coming up from League One as champions of the division so far. So yeah, going to be very interesting to see how they get on this season in the Championship. Not been doing too well, to be quite honest, inside the relegation zone in 22nd with only 9 points from the first 15 games. Poor form, and questions been raised over Grant McCann and his position at Hull City at the Tigers. So yeah, in terms of league position, they're not doing so well. Two wins, 3 draws and 10 losses, conceding 21 goals, but the lowest scorers in the division with 9 goals scored. That is very, very telling for a side like that, and it's very worrying as well. So, yeah, let's crack into a little bit of what we can expect from in terms of form. So, how have they been getting on in the league recently? Well, they haven't won for 4 games. They are winless and have lost their last 4, losing 2-0 at Huddersfield, 2-1 at Peterborough, 1-0 at Luton, and then finally 1-0 in their last game against Coventry, a loss there as well. But they did win 2-0 against our Saturday's opponents in Middlesbrough. So yeah, not doing too well at the moment. Hull really struggling, to be honest, as it stands. So yeah, not doing great at the moment. So yeah, let's chat a little bit about what we can find really, and what we can sort of work out really from what's going on at the moment. So yeah, in terms of Hull's possession, they don't tend to keep the ball that well, but they don't tend to keep it the worst in the league. The worst in the league is Birmingham, keeping the ball with 41% of that possession. In terms of where we are in that rank, we're 9th in the table with 50.4% of that possession. So yeah, we're not great at it, but neither are Hull. So it's going to be a case of who wants the ball a little bit more than the other. But as we're at home, I'd have thought potentially we'll be looking to gain that ball really. 6th in the league for pass percentage. So they're clearly, when they get the ball, they're quite good at keeping it. They're not sending many passes astray. However, when we get the ball, nearly all of our passes, well, over half of our passes are successful, but only really just with 62% of our passes being successful. So yeah, that's quite disappointing to look at really from an Albion perspective, considering how good we've been with the ball over previous years, to be honest. So yeah, that's how we sort of get on with a pass success rate. Tackles per game would be 14.3 per game for Hull, in 10th position in the league. For that one, 6th in the league for West Bromwich Albion, top of the league being sorry, I've done that the wrong way around. 17.7 at the top of the league. We are 19th, Hull in 16th. I've done that the wrong way around from lowest to highest, but that's now highest to lowest. But yeah, a little bit about their total goal scoring. They're just not getting the ball in the back of the net. 0.6 goals per game, which is really, really worrying considering they got some pretty bright attacking prospects behind striker Josh McGuinness. It just seems to be the case that they just can't get the ball in the nice square net, in the nice rectangular net, to be honest. So yeah, things just aren't really going well for Hull at the moment. It's not really working for them. And chance creation is just kind of not there really for them. So yeah, which is a bit worrying. And shot accuracy, it has not been great at all. They're 23rd in the league for shots on target per game, which is 2.9, and it's just looking really, really bad, to be honest, in front of goal for Hull. So yeah, we're kind of expecting if they get chances that they kind of need to finish them, because if you're a side trying to stay in the league, we found it last season, the amount of chances that you miss and score would be completely out of order. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed that things are happening like that, and things are coming out like that for Hull City, considering how rampant they were in League One last season, which is a little bit concerning to be fair for Hull City so far this season. They just haven't been able to get the ball in the back of the net. Perhaps that's down to a lack of quality at striker. They've got a striker up front really in Josh McGuinness, who's a player who's more of a battering ram than a finisher really. So is he expected to get the goals? No, not really. So who is expected to get those goals? And you look to the wide men, you look to the attacking midfielders in there as well. So if they're not getting the goals, who actually is? Yeah, let's talk about a little bit of a star man for Hull City. I've gone with Keane Lewis Potter, who I think is going to be a real star man for Hull City. He's a young attacker in the Hull City lineup, tends to play just out there on the left. Scored the joint amount of highest goals and got their most assists as well. That's 2 and 2, which isn't very many, but still definitely a standout player really for them so far this season. 20 years of age and been around for a little bit of time, to be honest. Been around since the 2019-20 season. So since we went. Since we sort of came down, he was sort of involved in the English Championship when we played them last time. But yeah, he's done really well so far this season, and obviously in the League One, 13 goals, 5 assists, did really, really well, but just not quite hit the ground running this season, I will say. But I suppose there's still time for that, and still a little bit of time for him to develop and keep pushing. But that's somebody I've highlighted as a bit of a star man for Hull City, because I just feel that he's quite a good player, and I feel he could make the difference if he's given the time and space, which I'm sure the way that we treated Fulham with all that respect and making the mistakes and literally playing them in on goal, perhaps Keane Lewis Potter could have something to feed off so far in this game. So yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how he gets on, and whether our defence can kind of tighten him down and keeping him shut. So yeah, we'll see what we think of that and see what happens in that department. But yeah, let's go into a little bit of a Hull City lineup for you. So I've gone from their most predictable and their most used lineup, which is the one that they've used over 12 appearances so far this season. So in goal, I've gone for Ingram in goal. Matt Ingram, a well-established Championship and League One goalkeeper, really, in terms of him. So there's not really much I can say about him. I've gone for Louis Coyle at right back. I'm not 100% sure if that's still the case, but he certainly was their captain at one point. Dishon Bernard, who's on loan from Manchester United. We've got Jacob Greaves, a young centre-back in there as well along that back four, who's been coming into the side and doing a really good job this season. Callum Elder, an experienced fullback, obviously been at Hull City for a little bit of a while now, to be honest. He's been there for quite a bit of time. He's been there since that 1920 season as well. So a few years there for Callum Elder. Then we've also got in there, we're going for a 4-2-3-1 really, with Richie Smallwood, who, if you remember, actually played in goal against West Bromwich Albion when he played for Blackburn. We've got Greg Doherty in there, and then behind the striker we've gone for Malik Wilkes, former Barnsley man, very tricky winger. We've gone for George Moncur, who's also a former Barnsley man in there as well, just behind the striker, and then Keane Lewis Potter, our danger man, on the left-hand side as well, with Josh McGuinness up front, who played for Bolton previously and played for Bolton when we actually played them in that first game of the season at home when Harvey Barnes scored that goal and we went on to lose. But yeah, there's the lineup for Hull City for you. So in summary, they're struggling to score the goals, but they certainly haven't got a massively overly leaky defence. So we can kind of expect a bit of a mixed player style from them, trying to just hit on the break and trying to just keep that ball when they can and trying to play almost percentages and functional football. So not on a good run of form, but certainly could be a real threat if we give them the time and space, especially with players like Keane Lewis Potter. Let's hit into Albion. And let's go for a little bit of a one to watch for Albion, who I'm going to put down as Jason Maloney, who isn't even a nailed-on starter. But I'm going to say if he is to play, I think he is going to be the person to watch out for West Bromwich Albion. His performances when he has played have been really good. Obviously, he came off the bench against Fulham. Not really too much effect, and we actually conceded when he came on, but that's no detriment to him because it was just genuinely poor performance from the team. But I believe he should start in this particular game, and I think he is going to. This is my lineup. I'll say the whole one is a predicted lineup. This one is more what I would go for. So in goal, I'd go for Sam Johnston with a back three of Matty Clark, Carl Bartley, and also Semi Ajayi. Then wing backs in Connor Townsend, and I'd probably go for Taylor Gardner-Hickman in that right wing back spot instead of Darnell Furlong, who's of course suspended as it stands after denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity in that last game. Then in the midfield pairing, I'd actually leave Livermore out for just this one game because I feel like just have a sort of a bit of time out. I didn't think he played that badly, to be honest, against Fulham, but I'll go with Snodgrass and Malumbi in there just to give Malumbi a chance. You know, there are times when you need your captain, and that's in a game like Fulham, but there's times when you are able to rest him. It is allowed to rest your captain. And then I'm going to go with Malumbi in there. And then a front three of Karlan Grant, Callum Robinson, and Grady Diangana with Hugh Gill, who I thought was very, along with most of the front three, to be honest, who was relatively anonymous. I'm going to leave him out and put Diangana in there with Robinson and Phillips as well, dropping to the bench. But that's kind of my predicted lineup. What is my predicted scoreline? However, I am going to go with a 2-0 win for West Bromwich Albion. I think it'll be relatively comfortable. I think we can bounce back. However, I do think it'll be a tricky game in parts. I think you just need to get a score early on. Not the stuffing out of Hull, who are in a bit of bad form, won't expect to come to the game and get anything. So I think a 2-0 win will be suitable for Albion, and I think that will hopefully happen for us. But make sure you drop your score predictions in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. But that does bring me to the end of this match preview. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what lineups you play, any changes you make to my lineup, predictions for the scoreline, and make sure you subscribe as well. Whilst you're at it, you're down there in that comment section. It's only next to the subscribe button. Make sure you click it so we can get to 1,000 subscribers. But that does bring me to the end of this Baggies Podcast match preview, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.